we're going to have today? Good gracious. It's been 5 minutes in the class, and we're still only missing 11 students still. Well. Getting, I guess they're still practically trying to finish up their taxes that are due tomorrow, right? No, that's not it. Oh, reminder, this week is testing week for a whole lot of you. This week and next week, we got testing going on. I know there's the Atlas testing that affects like all 9th and 10th graders. Let's see, do I have that scheduled? Tomorrow, the 15th. That's slow loading. I can look at student rosters as well. Tomorrow is the writing portion of the Atlas testing. And several of y'all, some of y'all will be involved in that tomorrow, just because some of the folks that have some IEPs and stuff. So I know there's some Atlas testing going on tomorrow. On Wednesday, there's some science and biology testing going on with Atlas. Next week, there's probably more of you involved next week on Tuesday. Guys, on next week we'll have the reading portion of Atlas testing, and we'll have the math portion next Wednesday. And seniors, you've got work keys testing coming up here. So make sure you've checked your emails and you know when you're supposed to be where. I know in the past we've had some testing over at Bentonville West at the building, but I think that's all changed this year. Everybody's here at the virtual school. So looking through, there's some people will be doing work keys this week. Some people are doing work keys next week. Juniors are the only ones that kind of have that off. Juniors won't, I don't think you have any testing that you have to come up for. So juniors, you're just going to have like a couple of normal weeks, except for some of your teachers won't be having classes. Like tomorrow, we won't have 5th and 6th periods. Won't have 5th and 6th periods. And gosh, do we have 0A? We may not even have 0A tomorrow. 0B, I mean, I don't think there's no 0B. So look for emails from your teachers, from Miss Scott, you know, from the principal there, Miss Honey, perhaps, just to see where you need to be when for either Atlas or work keys testing this week or next week. So it's kind of spread out. So, all right. Yeah, I see a lot of virtual students that are going to be here tomorrow. Just looking at the list. Yeah, there's a lot tomorrow. Yeah, there's 2 weeks of testing here. So it's going to be crazy for the next 2 weeks, which is going to make things fly by as well. So, yeah, keep on top of your emails, folks, because it looks like we got a lot of testing coming up. And I think map testing will be first week of May or something, but that'll be at least at your house. So. Okay, let me get our lesson up here. See what we're doing this week. Programming 0A. Let's look at the grade screen. So last week we had 10 questions. It was worth 50 points. We had a lot more questions last week than usual, but it was just a multiple choice. We had 601 testing. This week we have coding and careers. And then we're going to move into some cybersecurity to finish out the year. So when we move into the cybersecurity unit, there will not be any programs to write. So any of you who are behind on programs, you got a chance to get caught up. But let's look at our coding and careers lesson that we have this week. 6.03. Mastering your craft. So now that you know the basics of coding, you're all set to hit the ground running. See, there's no more you really need to learn, right? Okay, that was sarcastic, but not exactly. Here's a little secret. Good programmers never stop learning. And great programmers push boundaries. After all, the fun of programming lies in tinkering to see what's possible. I've learned more about programming this year. I learn every year more about it. That includes learning new and different coding languages, thinking logically, applying concepts in a way that makes non-coders gush in awe, and other programmers say, hey, why didn't I think of that? Because you may come up with something new in programming. So after completing this lesson, you'll be able to describe the basic elements of code change from one language to another, explain how programming could be used for personal and career advancement, understand the role and tasks performed by programmers in the workplace, Understand the importance of setting goals and monitoring goal progress. It's all Greek to me. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of different spoken languages in the world. Even those languages have obvious differences. They got little similarities too. And for example, most languages have words that act as nouns, verbs, adjectives, and pronouns. That's common through many, many languages. And many languages share similar rules for verb tenses, whether it's past, present, or future. In addition, languages such as Spanish, French, and Italian share a common ancestor. They're all Latin roots, the beginnings of their languages. And because of this, many words are very similar across multiple languages. And you may have noticed that already. Let's take a look. Like the number 1 in Spanish is uno. In French is un. In Italian it's uno. Because they all have the same Latin roots. 2, dos, do, du. 3, tres, trois, tre. 4, cuatro, quatre, cuatro. I don't speak Spanish well, so there may be an accent on that. I don't know. Cinco, cinc, cinque. So common words. Many programs also have common features like print functions and for loops. Their syntax may vary a little bit, but most programming languages have similar structures. So if you learn one language like Python now, it's easier to learn a second language. So once you understand the structural difference, it's easy to begin coding in other languages. Like Python, we use define main, parentheses, colon, print hello world, main. Right? In Java, it's public class hello world, has this little squiggly bracket, public state void main string args, squiggly bracket, system out, print ln, hello world, squiggly bracket. Similar but different. C++ include IOStream, int main. So instead of define main, they have an int main, squiggly bracket, ctd : c out, hello world. So similar, just different structures, but you can do the same thing in different languages. Being fluent in more than one programming language definitely has its perks. Some companies use software that require knowledge of specific languages. Some programs are just more powerful when written in one language compared to another one. So expanding your knowledge of programming languages will make you more employable. It'll also give you more opportunities to find your niche in the world of programming. What's my programmer type? Oh, I'm glad you asked. There are hundreds of thousands of jobs in technology, and that number is only growing. As a programmer, you can work in virtually any field. The hard part is deciding where. So if you're not sure, here's a quiz. So if you want to log into Buzz now and take this quiz too, to figure out what's your programmer type, it's here on page 3. So I'm going to answer these questions just based on how I would answer them to see what my programmer type is. Like I say, if any of y'all want to log on to Buzz while I'm doing this, go to the 6.03 lesson. I'll give you a moment to get there. And go to page 3, because it's one of those little quizzes like you find online, little personality quizzes, what's your kangaroo name or something weird. There's always some goofy things online. But we have our own what's my programmer type right here in the lesson. So let's see. Question, I don't know how many questions are, it doesn't say. Well, let's take a look here. When going out to eat with your friends, which one are you? Are you the one that decides where you're going to eat? Are you the one who Yelp reviews of all the restaurants in the area? Here, let me look up the reviews. You're the one who suggests a cool new place to try. Let's see. Or the one who asks everyone to vote. Good question. I'm going to say I'm the one who decides where to eat. You may say something different. You may be watching YouTube on how to pack for spring break or something, but I'm doing this quiz. Yes, there's someone in class watching YouTube right now on how to pack for spring break. All right, next question. What best describes your dream vacation? A full itinerary planned to the hour to make the most of the trip. A truly immersive one that lets me see, taste, smell, and experience everything. Those are kind of very, very similar. It's kind of hard to break those apart. A road trip to nowhere, just driving, or a cross-country trip to visit friends in 5 different cities. Oh, man. Well, I've had some dream vacations. I did like 12 days in Europe for my 20th anniversary years ago. And I liked the full itinerary planned to the hour to make the most of the trip. We saw a lot of stuff. Truly immersive one. Let's see, taste. I'm going to go with the full itinerary. How's your closet organized? Well, I just got a brand new closet, so that's a little different. Minimal. There's more important decisions to make. Color coded and organized by season. Are you asking, is it clean? Or I have a capsule wardrobe that I'm trying. As far as organization, I'm going to say there's minimal organization. I mean, other than I got the pants on the bottom rack and I got the shirts on the top rack, there's not a whole lot of organization to it. I mean, all my Hawaiian shirts are together, but I've got like 40 of them, so that's just taking a big space anyway. I'm going to say minimal. If you came to a fork in the road, I would take it. I would pick it up. No, that's not a good choice here. I would take the one less traveled. I would go down one road and come back and go down the other road just to see them both. You flip a coin, or you would consult your GPS to see which one you need to go. Well, I'm kind of that person that if I see a road I haven't been down before, that's the one I usually take because it's like, okay, I want to know where this road comes out. It drives my wife nuts, but I do this. So I would take the one less traveled just because I want to know where it leads to, because it might be a good shortcut to somewhere I want to go someday. So I want to know where the road goes. All right. Let's see. What's my programmer type? I like solving a problem from the top down, from the bottom up, from outside the box, or with a team. I'm going to say from the top down. I'll generally start seeing what the problem is, just work my way down into it. Work my way down into it. What does your perfect weekend look like? A balance of friends, family, and me time. Curled up in a nice book or a documentary. Trying out a new hobby like painting or rollerblading. Hanging out with a large group of friends. Perfect weekend. Well, not really with a nice book or documentary. That's not really me. New hobby. I don't have to do a new hobby. I'm going to go with either hang out with a large group of friends or a balance of friends, family, and me. I'm going to go with the balance. Let's do that. I think that's probably pretty accurate. You have a project deadline in 2 weeks. Oh, that sounds familiar. You probably have like some paper due for English, right? Getting to the end of the year. What do? I assemble a team, immediately begin assigning tasks. You comb through the project requirements and identify the highest priority items. You set up a meeting to brainstorm the best way to tackle the project. You gather a group of your most trusted friends to get the job done. I'm probably the type of person that's going to go through the requirements and see what's the most important thing first. That sounds like me. What is your ultimate career goal? Well, I don't have a goal at this point. I'm pretty much in my career. Become president, create something important, make the world better, a better place, understand humans perfectly. Well, mine would have been to become president. I've always been in politics and loved all of that. And I was student council president. I've been on the chamber at my city council there. I've been the city council and planning commission chairman. I've probably been that. A glass is always half full or empty, depending on what's inside. Twice the size it needs to be. That's why instead of half full, it's just twice the size it needs to be. Or a worth sharing. I'm kind of a half full kind of guy. So, what's most important when working on a group project? Having a plan, knowing all the answers, knowing your presentation style, or communication? Undoubtedly communication. Got to make sure everybody knows what they're doing. Which of these activities sound like the most fun? Planning an itinerary for your next vacation, assembling IKEA furniture, writing a new post for your blog, tagging and indexing your photo library. Oh, I'm really nerdy. That's very tempting. I do enjoy going through all my computer files. I mean, I've got thousands and thousands. I need to organize a lot more. But I'm going to say planning an itinerary because we've had a lot of fun doing that as a family in the past too. Oh, I'm an architect type. You like to be hands-on and part of the process from the ground up. Creating a project plan and driving that vision forward is your specialty. No details too small or big to tackle. You get a tingle of joy when all the pieces of the puzzle finally come together and you share that success with your team. You do well in management and leadership roles, helping to steer the direction of the projects. And I have been in most of my jobs over my life. Advanced certifications degrees in your area of interest will help you propel the ladder if you're so inclined. I could be a software architect, an engineer. See, and I would have loved to have been an engineer, but I didn't know about it when I came out of high school. I had no idea what an engineer was. I probably would have been one. Back-end developer, professor. I've been a professor too. I've taught at the U of A. Platform developer, program manager. Yeah, those are all things that probably would appeal to me wonderfully. All right, page 4. So yeah, you should take that quiz if you haven't already to see what tells you about yourself. It's pretty accurate for me. So what are my options? Once you figure out what you're interested in, it's just a matter of picking a path that works for you. Continuing education definitely has its perks. So these include increased employability, staying current with technology, hands-on experience, and specializing in a particular area of interest. Let's look at some paths you can take to continue your programming education. There's online programs. So as the field of programming grows, so does its offering of online programs. There's these massive open online courses. There's interactive boot camps. There's full courses from top universities you can take online, and some of them are free of charge. It's a great way to sample different programming specializations and kickstart your career plan. Some online programs include Coursera, Udemy, Codecademy, Udacity. Industry credentials. There's a ton of credentials and certifications you can earn to improve your chances of getting hired as a programmer. Certifications are highly valued in the programming world. They can be obtained by completing the necessary requirements from an accredited organization. That includes database administration, server administration, network administration, cybersecurity, and programming languages like Java. There's 2-year college path. You can start your path with an associate's degree in computer science. It's a great option for those looking to start their careers more quickly at a lower cost. 2-year programs are a great launching point. Earn your bachelor's degree as well. A bachelor's degree in computer science is what most employers look for when hiring. A traditional college program will likely require a higher grade point average for admission. This path provides a complete path with options for internships and networking. You can get advanced degrees if you find a specific area of programming interesting after you get your bachelor's degree. An advanced degree might be the answer. Graduate and doctorate programs in computer science are great options for becoming an expert in your field. And then, of course, there's the military. It's a great way to serve your country and build your programming skills. Lots of programming jobs in the military. They give you specialized training and tuition assistance, some of the many perks offered by the armed forces. It provides great resources that could lead to a lifetime career. Did you know, Google's kind of famous for this, they have a knack for asking really obscure questions in job interviews. Like, how much does the Empire State Building weigh? I'm sure there's a correct answer, but they're just seeing your thinking. Why are manhole covers round? Oh, that one's a really there's a right answer for that, and it makes a whole lot of sense. So in case you don't know that, they're round so they can't fall in. You can't drop the cover into the hole. If it was square or rectangle, you could turn it diagonally and it could fall in. But manhole covers, since they're round, cannot go through the hole. Well, these may not seem like questions that relate to the role of a programmer. You might want to take a closer look. Being a programmer is not just about being able to write complex code or debug broken systems. It's about having the skills to think through why manhole covers are round and communicate that clearly. Skills like critical thinking, initiative, teamwork, and a strong work ethic are at the top of the list when it comes to employability. Just ask Google. Page 5, careers that work closely with programmers. In addition to the many fields that programmers work in, here's many jobs closely associated with programming. So it's a good idea to have some programming skills when you have to collaborate with programmers. So maybe you don't be a programmer, but you're going to work in something that you're working with programmers, like a database administrator oversees the security and maintenance of a database. A help desk tech Helps individual users with their hardware and software issues. They normally help computer users over the phone or the internet. A network engineer organizes and maintains the structure of a network. PC repair tech. Unlike a help desk tech, who only helps people find solutions for the computer issues, a PC repair tech is the person who will physically repair computer hardware issues. Security analyst reviews the organization's security requirements, recommends needs. Server administrator oversees the management and maintenance of network servers. Web application developer develops server-wide web applications. A server-side application is located on the server, opposed to software that's installed onto a device. Web architect creates the outline and overall plan for a website. Web marketing professional specializes in marketing and selling products of the internet. Website analyst examines and evaluates websites to determine their effectiveness. And a website developer responsible for the look and appearance of a website. Last one is website manager. They're responsible for other people. They're in charge of the entire web development team generally. All right, here's our last page. Getting smart. Conquering the world starts with setting goals. Career goals are about what you want to accomplish in life. They can be short-term, like writing that tricky section of code this week, or long-term, like developing an entire working program a year from now. Let's learn about the SMART goals. S. Specific. Goals should be straightforward and emphasize what you want to happen. You should specify who's involved in the goal, what you want to accomplish, where is it going to take place, how long it's going to take, and any requirements. M is measurable. How will you know when you met your goals? You need to establish a concrete criteria for measuring progress. How much? How many? How will I know when it's accomplished? Attainable. Is the goal within your reach based on your current situation? Are you setting goals you'll never be able to accomplish? I want to ride a unicorn. No. The goal needs to stretch you slightly so you feel you can do it, but you still need a real commitment to be able to accomplish it. Are you realistic? They should be doable, meaning that with effort, you'll be able to accomplish them. And finally, the T is timely. Set a time frame. Putting an end point on your goal gives you a clear target to work for. So here's a poor example of a goal. I will get a job in the programming field. Okay. Here's a better example of a SMART goal. Obtain an entry-level programming job in the tech field within 6 months. Starting today, I will send my programming portfolio and resume to 10 different employers each week, and I'll meet once a month with a career coach to discuss my employability, and I will network with 5 new people each week. That's a SMART goal. It's measurable. You got all these things in place. You have a plan. Sometimes when you begin something new, it doesn't always go as planned. Don't be discouraged. Follow those guidelines to stay on track. Take a look at your plan and make adjustments if necessary. If you find that one of the steps is not working, try a different strategy. There's many different paths you can take to achieve the same goal. And remember, the world of work changes quickly. So do you. Now that you've gotten your feet wet with programming, the possibilities are endless. Students just like you've already dived headfirst into computer science, making waves in the form of mobile apps, life-changing technology, smart devices have the potential to change the world. What will you program next? I want to talk about that real quick because you think, oh, well, what can I do? This last month was the science fairs that they had. There's a group of students that wanted to be in these science fairs, competed in the region, competed at state. And one of these students is from our school district. I think it's 2 students actually together for this project. Bentonville West students. They created an app. So it was a programming. They won first place in programming. They created an app for your phone that they have this little device they can attach to it, and you can scan your mouth and it detects oral cancer. And it was more effective than a dentist. They won first prize for the whole science fair, won some cash, and they get to go to nationals. Like in May, they'll go to nationals. School business. Travel to I think it's in Indiana or Illinois, somewhere over there. Ohio. Oh, it's in Ohio. So they travel nationals. And just high school students, like you guys, some of your peers, but created an app for the phone that has this device that makes the device you put in your mouth and it holds the phone at a certain angle so it can get a good picture. And they built the app and had it compare it to all these other pictures of oral cancer and healthy mouths, and it could kind of scan and look for certain things, but it was more accurate than a dentist. So it's really cool. Say, what can I do in high school? You can learn programming to the point you can create an app that can win you money and trips to nationals. It's pretty wild. And there's a good chance they may get college scholarships, something like that. Colleges look for it. They will pay you 100% tuition to come to their school a lot of times because of the things you created. And it's possible that a company may buy their product or employ them because of these things. So what can you do in programming at this? A lot. All right, let me put this back up here real quick. That was the end of the lesson. So let's go to the assignment. Oh, look, submit the assignment using the provided template. So let me pull up the template. So here it is. Write a program that demonstrates your programming skills acquired during this course. This is the last program of the year. Use the following guidelines. Pick one of the following options for your program. You can create a game like rock, paper, scissors. You can write a short story in the style of a Mad Lib. Oh, Mad Libs are fun. Include non-numeric and numeric values. Oh, I don't know if I did that on mine. Did I include any non-numeric? I didn't include any numeric. I need to redo mine. Think through the needs of your program. What are the rules? What's the storyline? What's the equations? Make the program interactive. So you got to have at least one input statement. You got to have at least one list or a user-defined function, and at least one decision, if else, elif, and display the output. An idle, name, date, description, indent things properly. Make sure you have a main function. Got our 4 questions. So here's what I wrote. But I just looked at the requirements and I'm missing something. I don't have a numeric value. But I created my own user-defined function instead of a list. And so my function is the Mad Lib. And you send to my function a name, another name, a verb, an adjective, a noun, and an animal, and it prints the Mad Lib story. So my main function, I did, since I have to have an if statement, I said Mad Lib equals yes, and I have a loop. While Mad Lib equals yes, would you like to create a Mad Lib? And so you can create a whole bunch of them as long as you keep saying yes. And then if Mad Lib equals yes, then have an input everything. Enter a name, enter another name, enter a verb, and then an ing, enter an adjective, enter a noun, enter an animal. And then it calls my user-defined function, Mad Lib, and sends it the name to, verb, adjective, noun. If you said, no, I don't want to create a Mad Lib, it would just say, thanks for trying my Mad Lib program. So here, let's run this. Would you like to create a Mad Lib? Yes. Enter name, Bobby. Enter another name, Matilda. A verb ending in ing. Hopping. How about that? An adjective. Smelly. Smelly's an adjective. Enter a noun. A noun would be a Nintendo. Enter an animal. Let's say a cat. Would I like to create another Mad Lib? No, just show me that one. There it is, my Mad Lib story. One sunny day, Bobby went for a walk in the park. Suddenly, a baby cat was spotted. He was smelly and hopping quickly. Matilda grabbed a Nintendo and quickly ran away. Bobby couldn't help but laugh at the funny sight. Little 5-line Mad Lib. You just, those little Mad Lib books, you just enter nouns and stuff. But I need to modify mine because mine does not have numeric values. So I would need to add a number in there somewhere and use that in my story, which I can fix that. So that's what we have this week. There's no sample program because you're just supposed to use all your skills from the semester. Now let me tell you the really good stuff. And I put this in our classroom. Since this is our last program of the year, I'm going to do something special. The grade for this program will replace your lowest program grade for the semester. Which means if you don't do this program, you're going to miss out on this, and this would be your lowest grade. Right? So if you do this, I'm going to take whatever your worst grade was all semester on a program, and I'm going to replace it with the grade I would give you for this one. which kind of means this week's optional. If you don't do it, well, then you're stuck with all the grades you've got, and this will be your lowest grade. So you want to do this because it should be pretty simple. Shouldn't be bad with all the skills you've learned this year. You can do rock, paper, scissors. It wouldn't be bad with some if statements, Mad Lib, or you can take an old program you did and improve it. But this will replace your lowest program grade for the semester. This is our very last program of the year. So you have the template there. It lays out the requirements if you want to do this. And it's for your benefit, because if you had a poor grade earlier in the program, you're like, oh, that was a hard program, I don't want to have to redo it. Well, you don't have to go back and redo it. If you don't want to redo an old program, just write this program and I'll replace that lowest grade you had. So there you go. A little benefit for you for our lowest program. Our last program, to replace your lowest programming grade. So I've never done this before. I just decided to do that this year. I said, let's do this. A little something special. You guys have been working hard on a lot of different programs. Some of you need a break. Some of you need to replace your lowest grade. Guess what? If you have more than 1 0, I'll just pick one and replace one of them for you. But get your program started in, turn in this one, and raise your grade, because it'll replace whatever your lowest grade. Of course, if this ends up your lowest grade because you did really poorly on this one, well, then I just won't count this one. Kind of how that works. So, all right, guys. Any questions on that? It kind of makes sense what we're doing with that. All right. Well, then, let's see. Happy testing for all you non-juniors, because I think juniors are only one excuse from that for the next 2 weeks. This is, what is this? Let me look. April. Oh, this Friday, there's no school because we're having teacher work day. We're having teachers go to classes on Friday. So there's no school. So let me just take this down. This Friday is nothing because there's no school Friday. So you only have, we have class Wednesday morning, unless I'm involved in testing that early. You better email me if you have problems, because I'll send an email out about Wednesday class. I'm not sure we're having it because all this testing and stuff. So, all right, guys, I'll see you next week then. Have a good one.